Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a closer look at Kentucky Derby contender Mandaloun, a beautifully bred Juddmonte homebred son of Into Mischief, and there's been buzz surrounding this horse ever since his career debut, and we'll show you why. Let's watch that race at Keeneland last fall, going 3/4 of a mile, and Mike, he took all the money in this race. This is not an ideal trip for a first-time starter. In and among horses, in behind, weaving his way through traffic. He was really professional.
Yeah, this is a really nice debut. It's easy to see why people were excited about him after this, Dan. He certainly, you couldn't say he had a perfect trip in here, but once he found some daylight in front of him, he really ran. He was impressive here. He came right back to win again out of this race, and then it's been all graded stakes since then, and I guess you'd have to say he's acquitted himself pretty well.
Well, let's talk about those 3 races down at the fairgrounds. In the Lecomte, he was the beaten odds-on favorite, but that was a race where there was just no pace going on, and Mandaloun tried to rally wide from off of it. I guess you could give him an excuse for that performance.
Yeah, he certainly didn't have the best of it there. It was also, his first try around 2 turns, his first start in Stace Company. So you could just say he had a lot working against him. He ran fine that day. Certainly the pace could have compromised him. Maybe I would have been a little bit happier to see him prevail for a second there. I didn't care for the fact that he got outfinished.
He then showed up in the Grade 2 Risen Star, and his phenomenal trainer, Brad Cox, added blinkers for that race, and Mandaloun came through. He showed good tactical speed on the outside. He was under some urging on the turn, and then he got by his nemesis, Midnight Bourbon, late. It was a performance that you would think would set him up for the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby. And Mike, he just didn't show up that day. I realize he was wide, but he really tired badly. Could you find an excuse for that performance?
Not really. I mean, he fairly bombed last time. It's interesting too, Dan, because you're right that he was a little wide. He was also, it looked like he was heading forward at the start of that race. He got himself between horses, and it almost looked like his rider decided to back him out of there and let the 1-2 finishers go, and he sat off them in a 3-wide trip. But boy, it's hard to think that that's the excuse for his performance last time. He just really didn't show up with anything. All 3 times in his 3 graded stakes races around 2 turns, then they've ridden him basically the exact same way. They take him to the outside, they keep him clear of horses, and they try to track the pace. To me, he's only run well in 1 of those races.
It'll be interesting to see what we get from him in the Kentucky Derby. You rarely like to see a horse coming into the Derby off of a subpar performance, but you're going to get a price, Mike, on a horse that has been favored in all 5 lifetime starts and does have some ability. It's not like his Risen Star came out of nowhere. This is a horse that has been training well at Churchill Downs. Obviously, the second lifetime win has come at Churchill Downs, and I think with a good pace scenario, they might revert to those tactics that worked so well for him in his career debut. Do you find him an interesting long shot?
If he is indeed a long shot, I won't say he's uninteresting, Dan. I really don't have much affinity for this horse heading into the Derby. We'll see. I know that he has talent, but you're still talking about a horse who, personally, it all comes down to price. I could personally see him actually being something of an underlay in this race, and he really, to me, only has 1 race that makes him very interesting, and that's his Risen Star. 2 starts back. I suppose that he could win. I don't want to say he's one of these horses that you just want to totally pitch. If he's some kind of big price, especially, I could give him a chance to rebound. But I really don't have a lot of affinity for this horse.
He does have a 98 Beyer speed figure in the Grade 2 Risen Star, 2 starts back. Maybe he'll get the right pace scenario. Handicappers are just going to have to throw out that Louisiana Derby if they want to fall in love all over again with Mandaloun. But the Juddmonte homebred has talent. He has Brad Cox in his corner, and he might be a pretty nice price at Churchill Downs.